Day 66 of quarantine. This is my third time trying to record. I thought I had a minute. I sat down and then I got interrupted twice. And I'm not at all prepared because I had all kinds of things that I wanted to talk about. And but then I suddenly thought I had a minute and I just ran in and started recording without grabbing most of the stuff. I grabbed a couple of things on my way in. So gosh, some thoughts. One good thing that has come out of this is that I had been wanting to switch to handkerchiefs for a while now, and the paper shortages and not having easy access to stuff has kind of kicked me in the behind to actually finally go and do that. So I got myself a collection of pretty handkerchiefs, which I'm folding right now. And so we've been using them. And that's lovely. I just wash them in the regular wash them on hot. And then I hang them up to dry. I had some about the house that I gathered up, just a couple of them, and then I got some more to add to it. So I have a basket that I'm filling up over here. These ones, I have a handful of these, and I'm not sure if they're meant to be handkerchiefs or napkins, to be honest, because they're a bit heavier and sturdier than other ones, but they're soft, and I think they're linen. They work very nicely. They're a really good fit for allergy season, whereas some of the other ones are not really sufficient. Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. So yeah, I washed them in hot, and then these ones I put through the dryer because they seem sturdy and they have a good binding on the edge, and they seem like they can take it. But the other ones are really not so. They're a lot thinner, and the binding on the edge isn't quite so nice and sturdy. So I hang those up to dry. I hang them on a wooden drying rack. With the fire, they're dry in 10 minutes flat, easy. I don't know what it'll be like without the fire, but with the fire, they dry in 10 minutes. I can't imagine it'll be a whole lot longer without the fire. And then sometimes I iron them just because they look nicer and crisper. They get very wrinkly if you don't. I didn't this time. I don't always, but sometimes I do. If I have a minute, I'll give them all a quick iron, because I have enough that they last, I don't know, a week or two without having to wash. So it's not a big time commitment, and I figure it sanitizes them. So if people have been sick, I might make more of an effort with that. This time I didn't, just because I was busy. And I don't really care. Does it matter if the thing I'm blowing my nose on is wrinkled? Oh, I love this one. It's one of my favorites. Yep, these ones are not holding up very well. I already picked these out with the embroidery, and they're pretty, but not holding up so well. That's another pretty one. It's a bunch of pretty ones. So that's a good thing that came out of this. I was finally pushed into doing. So I just have a little basket. It's falling apart a bit, but that's okay. And I've been keeping it in the living room, and everybody can take them whenever they please, pop them in a pocket, and they are all set. And so far, it's worked just fine. And I've been quite happy with that, with there being less waste and having moved on to that. Birch bark note. have another note over here. Let me see. Yeah. So Serafina has taken to, when she's mad at people, she will go storming off, and then she will come back and she will very angrily hand them a note. And it's usually got some variation of this, a picture of her with her back turned on them to express her displeasure. So much going on. I don't know. I think going back out into the world is a long way off for my family in a lot of ways. Like, I am so overwhelmed at home right now that I can't even imagine going and trying to get back to life. Everybody else I know is clamoring to get back to life. Not everybody. I've heard other people say that they don't want to go back to the way things were. I don't know what I want. I know it's been hard in a lot of ways. And I'm definitely afraid to go back to life, but beyond just the fear of illness. I can't explain that. I can't really explain that. Like I said, I think it's just so much to process, so much going on in the world, in our communities, in our families, that I don't know, like that's all I have the mental capacity for. Like, I don't know that I could add to that just now. Let's see, I have, in the last 66 days, I've been in the car twice. Once for May Day, we drove a 1.5 miles to an empty field to fly kites. And yesterday. So yesterday is the furthest that I've gone. It was Elijah's 18th birthday. That was a hard one. It's a hard one. Because what do you do for an 18-year-old who can't see his friends and can't do the things he loves to? It was really hard. Anyhow, but what one of the things that we did do is we asked some friends to make happy birthday signs and hold them up out on their porches, and we did a drive-by. And that was nice. And we actually stopped at one family's house for a little while, and we parked way across the street. So it was, we were on one side of the street, and there's the road, and then there's their whole front yard, and then there's their front porch, and they were up on their front porch, and we were over on the other side of the road. And we hung out for a little bit and talked. That was nice, but it was also weird. All these ways of relating to one another, they're awkward because they're so unnatural. To be so far away, to be practically shouting at each other, or to be online talking, it just doesn't feel natural. It feels weird. It feels forced. But it was still really lovely to see all of their faces and hear their voices. It was really lovely. So yep, those are the 2 times that I've left the house. Garden is underway. Already kicking my behind. Knew that was coming. I have a bunch of strawberries in the refrigerator that I need to plant. Don't know when I'm going to get to those. I did a bunch of breaking out and dividing up of starts today. I have a ton of those. I made a little movie about our setup for starting them, which I have expanded 3 times, I think 3 times the size it is in the movie. So when I put that out there, you'll see it's about 3 times that. And things are coming along there. Food is an interesting thing at the moment. we've not gone to a grocery store at all since we've been home. I have no intention of going anytime soon. We have been doing curbside pickups with the farm stand that I've mentioned before, and there's a local co-op that we've done a curbside pickup for twice now. Once before Easter to get some special things for Easter, and once before Elijah's birthday. The curbside pickup guy is best friend of one of my kids, two of my kids, friends with all of my kids, one of the best friends. They're two really, really, really close friends to all of my kids, and he's one of them. And yeah, he threw in a box of gluten-free donuts and a really sweet note for Elijah, and it totally made me cry. I won't share it here for privacy's sake, but yeah, totally made me cry. There's not a word. There's not a word for it. I don't feel like our language has evolved to encompass our current experience. At least my vocabulary hasn't, I don't think. So food's been funny. Right before we decided that we needed to stay home, I stocked up on some stuff. Trying not to hoard, but trying to make sure we had supplies. Knowing that for our family in particular, it was going to be an issue. So I tried to take a variety of things instead of like a whole lot of one thing. So it wasn't awful. And I remember thinking at the time that if on the outside of things we are home for 2 months, that I have supplies. Day 66, baby. Most of those things are gone. I still have some food in the freezer that I kind of thought would be fallback kind of food, and but most of the stuff that I bought at the store those days are gone. So we're very low on canned goods, very low on frozen vegetables, and that kind of thing. So it's time to get creative, and that's what I've been telling the kids. It's time to get creative. We've been really, so far through this, we've been kind of pampered, in that we haven't switched the way we're eating that much. We have some, but we haven't that much. And now it's getting to that time where it's like, yeah, no, we got to switch things. We every year get half a cow from a local farm, grass-fed beef, which is lovely, and I usually get a pig as well. And so we have some things left in the freezer of that, but as I told the kids, the next cow, and we didn't actually get half a cow last year. So we're getting low. We're getting really low, and the stuff that's left is the stuff that when I send people to the basement to get things out of the freezer, they don't come back with, and they don't come back with it for a reason, because it's nobody's favorite, or at least it's not their favorite. It's all the stuff they don't want me to make for dinner. So yeah, I've been really clear with the kids that, like, look, it's going to be a summer of eating the stuff that you've been avoiding eating. Payback time. So we have a bit of beef left in that, and we have some smoked pork because I am not supposed to be eating smoked meat products. So I had been avoiding the hams. We have several ham steaks and things in the basement. I had been avoiding them because I'm not supposed to be eating them, but guess what? Times have changed, and you know, we need food, so we'll be eating those. Chicken and fish. Might see if I can order some canned salmon online out of frozen fish. A tiny bit of chicken left, kind of saving it for a special occasion. So it'll be interesting. We have big garden growing. The way we've been ordering food at the farm stands, expensive. It's really expensive. It's lovely, but it is expensive. That and trying to order stuff online and having it delivered, also expensive. So we'll see. It's time to start doing more local, like our land local. I am glad also to be able to support, you know, this local farm though. I really am glad about that. But, yep, time to grow stuff too. And I have a lot in the ground. Not looking that great yet, but it never is at this time of year, so I guess we wait and see on all of that. Dandelions just started blooming this week. We had some dandelion fritters the other day, so that was nice. The girls picked a bunch of violets to make violet jelly. So I included lemon juice in that order from the co-op because I didn't have lemon juice, but I haven't gotten around to making the jelly, so we'll see if that happens. I do have honey in bulk, so if I can keep lemon juice around, I've pectin. If I can keep lemon juice around, we can make all sorts of herbal jellies. We did that one year and they really loved working on that. And that'd be a fun project. Though honestly, I never know what to eat them on anyway because we don't really do grains. And we don't have like yogurt. So I don't really know what to do with the jelly after it's made, but we can make it. I'm at a loss. I had a whole list of things, like I said, that I wanted to talk about, but I wasn't prepared when I sat down. I bought a book. It's called Mending Life, a handbook for repairing clothes and hearts. And I saw it online and I thought, now doesn't that seem right for right now? Because I definitely, you know, really, I think mending is terribly important. I think it's so just the right way to be in the world and the right way to care for things, but I'm not always the best about doing it. And one of the things I was going to show you was a handful of things that I mended, but I didn't gather them before I sat down. The book is lovely. I highly recommend it. It isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. There's less, I thought there would be more in the way of stories and stuff like that. And there's some, but less than I thought. There are sections of it that are kind of like a picture book. It's really sweet. In fact, I think I'm going to read those to Serafina as if they were just a picture book. And lots of lovely artwork, and then just instructions on how to do basic repairs and different techniques and things of that nature. And if I can find it, oh, this with the birds and the eggs adding to the nest. Oh, that's so dear. When we mend. Oh yeah, lovely. There's a bunch of, I see, here's me going through. I want to read it all. There's nothing broken that can't be fixed. That old saying comes to mind again. What if we could really believe it and apply it to everything in our lives? Just as we choose not to give up on an old busted pair of jeans, we choose to heal a friendship. We choose to let go of an old grudge we've been carrying around, and we choose to acknowledge feelings that have been hurt. The most vulnerable members of our society, the houseless, mentally ill, incarcerated, are cast out and disposed of. Can we learn to say, I won't give up on you, and truly practice it? Just a little section. Anyhow, lovely book, good instructions. I really enjoyed it. I've got on a thing, I'm getting the kids to do some mending because I think that's important. And right now, I'm teaching them. So a couple of days ago, Mari, we were packing away her winter coat and it had a tear in the cuff right at the seam where it caught. And so I showed her how to do an invisible seam hand sewn there to fix it up. And so she learned a new skill. So as things for each child, as they get rips and tears, I'm going to show them how to fix it. I have one, Ian's a mender already. He mends things all of the time. Just in the last week or so, he's mended a pair of jeans and a sheath to a sword and his work gloves. He's come to me asking for, craft thread and things like that to mend those things. He doesn't really have any interest in hearing about techniques and stuff. He just does whatever he feels like doing with them, which is fine. But I'm glad to see him practicing that. And I hope to see the others doing more of that as well. So I'm going to teach them. And I have quite a bit of mending about myself. I have some tights of Seraphines that have a hole but are in otherwise perfect condition, except for the hole in the foot. So I'm going to try and darn that this week. Yeah. And another pair of pants with a rip. It's a pair of leggings, also Seraphinas, in good shape otherwise, but caught on something and just tore. So they're both on my list. I did repair. These are the couple of things I swooped and grabbed on my way in here. This cape, my Aunt Mary works at a consignment shop, and this came in with the tag still on it from Ireland. This beautiful Irish wool cape. Brannigan weavers, the colors of Ireland captured and crafted in wool. And so she snatched it up for me. And I love it. Though I do think I look like a marshmallow in it. It's perhaps not the most flattering thing. But I do love it. And this is what I wear in those in-between times of year. And it's not quite winter coat weather, but more than a sweater. So I'll have a sweater on underneath usually, and then this on top. And as I said, I love it and I wear it all the time. And for, I don't even know how many months now, I haven't worn it because the button loop had broken. That's all. The button loop had come undone and just needed a quick repair. And instead of repairing it, it had just sat in my studio all that time because it's so easy for things to pile up. And I do have masses and masses of piles of things like this because I want to fix them. And then it's just an overwhelming thing because there are so many, even if they're little. So I'm trying to force myself to do them. So While Serafina had her Zoom ballet class last week, I stay in the room in case she has any trouble, and I sat out of sight and I mended my button loop. And while I was at it, the button was getting loose, so I cut it off and re-sewed that nice and sturdy. And that should last a little while, I would hope, and I hope next time, if I run into another problem with it, I will fix it quickly. That's a problem, isn't it? I keep thinking, I just need to do a little mending every day. I just need to do a little decluttering every day. I just need to do a little gardening every day. I just need to do a little fill in the blank every day. But then it's not just a little when it's everything. When it's a whole list of things, it's no longer just a little. Then it's just overwhelming. But I did do some, and progress is still progress, even if it's only a little bit of progress. And this is a pair of woolly pants of Serafina's. It had a little hole in the knee, and I thought that I would do a tiny little flower over it. But once I started getting in there and mending it, I used yellow because I thought yellow was going to be the middle of it. Some of the fabric around it was more worn away than I thought, so I ended up going further than I thought and ended up with this funny kind of bean shape. And I thought, well, it's yellow, maybe I can make it into a bee. But I don't love it. I haven't even, I think there's still a needle in here somewhere. I haven't tied off the wings, which was the last thing I did, because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. I might cut it off and start over again. I think my main objection might be this single stripe that's at an angle. I don't think I like that. I haven't decided. I might actually show it to her and see what she thinks, if she wants me to keep it or if she wants me to redo it on her little woolly pants. Oops. Nope. That's the thread to the wings that I haven't attached. I had so much more to talk about. It's going to be really a lot more interesting. Oh well. I've blathered on for long enough. You really don't need to hear more right now. We're here. We're alive. I'm anxious. The new syndrome that they're seeing coming out with children is, I guess I would assume it's a nightmare for most parents, but it is in particular a nightmare for parents of chronically ill children. And in our household with EDS, it is a perfect storm of exactly the wrong symptoms. It hits exactly the wrong systems of the body. It hits exactly where we are the weakest, and that's just a biological fact for my kids. So it terrifies me. Yeah, I'm not gonna deny it. And yeah, a lot of the world is kind of getting back to normal, and I don't think that's going to be possible for us. And that is going to be really, really hard. It's going to be really hard for the kids to be seeing their friends going back to the things they want to do and not being able to do it themselves. And things like that. But one day at a time. One day at a time. That's all I can do. Well then. I will speak to you again soon. I hope you have a lovely evening. I am going to go and try to make dinner. Creatively, because I don't have a plan. Talk to you soon.